Hello fellow Rangers, welcome back to another video. Today this is the last episode of the Curtis p40b Warhawk on the series, and as you can see she is looking really nice. It's fair play. I think I did quite well regarding this, if I do say so myself. Right, we will hear the history of the P40 and then we'll move on to 284 and go from there.
The Curtiss P-40 Warhawk is an American single-engined, single-seat, all-metal fighter bomber that first flew in 1938. The P-40 design was a modification of the previous Curtiss P-36 Hawk, which reduced development time and enabled a rapid entry into production and operational service. The Warhawk was used by most Allied powers during World War II, and remained in frontline service until the end of the war. It was the third most produced American fighter of World War II, after the North American P-51 Mustang and Republic P-47 Thunderbolt. By November 1944, when production of the P-40 ceased, 13,738 had been built, all at Curtiss-Wright Corporation's main production facilities in Buffalo, New York. P-40 Warhawk was the name the United States Army Air Corps gave the plane, and after June 1941, the USAF adopted the name for all models, making it the official name in the US for all P-40s. The British Commonwealth and Soviet Air Forces used the name Tomahawk for models equivalent to the original P-40, P-40b, and P-40c, and the name Kittyhawk for models equivalent to the P-40d and all later variants. P-40s first saw combat with the British Commonwealth squadrons of the Desert Air Force in the Middle East and North African campaigns, during June 1941. Number 112 Squadron Royal Air Force was among the first to operate Tomahawks in North Africa, and the unit was the first Allied military aviation unit to feature the shark mouth logo, copying similar markings on some Luftwaffe Messerschmitt Bf 110 twin-engine fighters. The lack of a two-speed supercharger for the P-40's Allison V1710 engines made it inferior to Luftwaffe fighters such as the Messerschmitt Bf 109 or the Focke-Wulf Fw 190 in high-altitude combat, and it was rarely used in operations in Northwest Europe. However, between 1941 and 1944, the P-40 played a critical role with Allied air forces in three major theaters: North Africa, the Southwest Pacific, and China. It also had a significant role in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, Alaska and Italy. The P-40's performance at high altitudes was not as important in those theaters, where it served as an air superiority fighter, bomber escort and fighter bomber. Although it gained a post-war reputation as a mediocre design, suitable only for close air support, more recent research, including scrutiny of the records of Allied squadrons, indicates that this was not the case. The P-40 performed surprisingly well as an air superiority fighter, at times suffering severe losses, but also inflicting a very heavy toll on enemy aircraft. Based on wartime victory claims, over 200 Allied fighter pilots from the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, the US and the Soviet Union became aces flying the P-40. These included at least 20 double aces, mostly over North Africa, China, Burma and India, the Southwest Pacific and Eastern Europe. The P-40 offered the additional advantages of low cost and durability, which kept it in production as a ground attack aircraft long after it was obsolescent as a fighter.
Right, fellow Rangers, now it's time for our P40B to number 284.
Thanks to a very generous sponsor, The world's only P40B and only surviving airworthy American fighter from the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor joined the collection. One of the 131 P40Bs built at the Curtiss facility in Buffalo, New York during 1940 to 1941 and allocated the BU number 41 to 13,297. This fighter was delivered to the U.S. Army Air Corps in March 1941. It was quickly sent to Wheeler Field, Hawaii in April of that year, becoming part of the 19th Pursuit Squadron of the 18th Pursuit Group. In October 1941, 7 months after delivery, this P-40 was involved in a wheels-up landing, requiring her to be placed in a maintenance hangar for repair. This aircraft was still in the hangar undergoing repairs when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on the 7th of December 1941. That seemingly minor twist of fate most likely saved P-40B 41 to 13,297 from being destroyed. Following repairs it was returned to flight-worthy status. Then, on the 24th of January 1942, in another ironic twist of fate, with only 9 months of service and 56 hours of flight time, while on a routine training flight the plane spun out of control. The pilot, Lieutenant Kenneth Wayne Sprankle, was unable to recover from the spin, crashing into the side of a mountain, killing him. The crash occurred in a rather inaccessible area of the island. So, after recovery of the body the aircraft was left in place. In 1985 the Tomahawk's remains were rediscovered. After some preliminary investigation, it was determined the airframe was not severely damaged and if it could be removed was restorable. Some parts were recovered during 1985. A second recovery mission in 1989 salvaged the rest of the airframe. In 1989, the Curtiss Wright Historical Association in Torrance, California was formed and serious restoration of the recovered P-40 began. The restoration was named Project Tomahawk. Whenever possible parts indigenous to the plane were used. 2 other P-40Bs, the 39-285 that also crashed in Hawaii in 1941 and 39-287, that went down in a severe storm over the Sierra Nevadas the 24th of October 1941 were utilized for parts. When completed, the Tomahawk eventually joined the fighter collection at Duxford, UK, in 2003. P-40B Tomahawk 41 to 13,297 flies wearing the scheme she wore during her time in Hawaii with the 18th Pursuit Group.
Right, that was a very interesting tale about our P-40B Warhawk. Yes, I know it suggested it as, named it as the Tomahawk, but it had 3 names, as it said. It had the Warhawk, the Tomahawk, or the Kitty Hawk. Legendary aircraft, fair play to it, and this particular one as well, all surviving through everything it's been through, and it's still been around. That's such amazing that is to actually find out it is still around. I do enjoy that bit when I look into an aircraft's particular history, that I find quite a lot of research information regarding the aircraft I'm actually building. So yeah, as it is traditional at the end of each build series, I always look at you and ask this question. And yes, I did put a post up regarding which one everyone would want, but for some reason it was a tiebreaker, and I decided to let my father have the final say. Yeah, I will probably say it again on the new series of that build. But the age-old question: what am I going to do with all this spare time? I'll see you next time, my fellow Rangers. You all take care, and Lone Ranger signing out.